Hey there, gang. Welcome to our lecture capture today on how to analyze and read scientific articles. So, the first thing that I want you guys to know, this is a quick overview slide of what we're going to be learning today. And first and foremost, there are four main pieces to a scientific article. Okay, first, you have an introduction. Next, you have a procedure. Then you have a results section, and finally, a conclusion. Throughout this lecture capture, which is going to be pretty fast, we're going to go over exactly what these mean. Okay? Additionally, aside from these four pieces, there are going to be three main annotating strategies that we're going to go over to help us simplify these articles. Now, when I say annotating, basically think of this as marking up the article. Okay? So our first one is underlining. Our second is going to be circling. Okay, I'm going to go into exactly what that means. And then our last one is making a table or chart. Okay, so moving on to our next slide. The introduction is generally found at the beginning of an article. Okay, it's usually going to be the first paragraph or so of information that you see. All right, when you are looking at your questions and you see certain ones, what you can go back to the intro to find is anything about the background information on a topic. Okay, from what the topic is to even why the topic is important. Okay, it also gives a concise overview of the article. It's going to give you a very brief description of what the procedure is, the how, the who. Again, all very brief, but enough that you can have an understanding of what the rest of the article is going to be talking about. And lastly, the introduction is going to briefly explain why the paper topic is essential to that particular field. Okay, basically, the importance of the article. Okay, so the procedure, okay, this can generally be found after the introduction. And it'll either be labeled procedure or methods. It can be either word. They're pretty interchangeable. Okay, you will want to look in the procedure to basically see how the study was set up. Okay, you can get a concise description of the steps performed. Okay, you can find out the number of subjects that were used, the type of equipment that was used. Okay, and you can find out exactly how things were measured. This basically gives you all of the details of the experiment, and you would use this if you wanted to actually recreate the experiment on your own. Okay? It's really crappy. There we go. All right, so the results section. So we can find the results right after the procedure. Okay, the results will usually be data in the form of numbers from the experiment. Okay, or it can be found in percentages. Okay, basically, you guys can cross that box out. The results are very neutral. Just numbers, no explanation. Okay? the conclusion, all right, this is going to be found at the very end of an article, okay? You can look at the conclusion to find the significance of the results. In other words, what do the results mean? So what's happening here is that we're explaining the numbers from the results section. Okay, here is where we're finally giving meaning to it. All right, it's also going to tell us how the results impact our understanding of the topic, and it's going to provide next steps. Okay, where do we go from here? All right, so some strategies to use while reading articles. First and foremost, a really good strategy is to read the whole article first. Okay, you want to get an idea for what everything means before you start to annotate anything in the article. Okay. Secondly, you want to put question marks next to any words you don't know. Okay, this will allow you to look it up later. What we're going to apply in this class is that any sentence that helps you answer the who, the what, the when, the why, or the how, I want you guys to underline this, okay? Any sentence that you see that you can do this, just put a simple underline beneath it. Okay? This is going to help you go back afterwards and only be looking at the important information. All right? Now, what we're going to circle are any numbers or percentages. And once again, this will help us go back in the article and you guys will be able to pluck these right out, okay? What you guys can sometimes do is make a graph. And you can use the information that you underlined and circled to make a graph or table, okay? And we have some examples of graphs and tables here below. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, in some of these graphs that we have here, this first one, this is a bar graph. And you guys can see that on the left-hand side, we would have number of likes. Okay, and on the bottom we have color. Okay, so you have a title here, and then you have a title for this axis, and you have a title for your bottom axis. Over here, this is an example of a line graph. You guys can see that the individual points are graphed here. Okay, and then what's done is that a line is drawn between all of these points, okay? And then lastly, our last example of a graph will be a pie chart. This is really good for percentages, as you guys can see, where every single option is a percentage of 100, okay, based on the amount of responses that are given. So, this PowerPoint will hopefully help you guys answer some of the questions you're going to see later on, and it's really helping turn you into some scientists. If you guys have any questions, please raise your hand, and if not, go on to reading the article for today and then answering the questions online. Thanks so much.